This was supposed to be a horse ride, but plans change. Now I have 18 hours, that's all the time I have, to hike alone into this new mountain range and secure food for my family. The clock is running, and from the moment I left in the pitch black, the mountain decided to fight back. The wind was a beast up here, whipping the trees like flags. This isn't just a hunt, it's a single-day survival run against the clock and the elements. Stick around to see if a simple grocery run can break a cowboy. First thing that you definitely want to do before you go hunting is to sight in your rifle to make sure that you're going to actually hit what you aim at. So I fired two different rifles, my .338 and this is a 7mm08. So I'm shooting for here. I want it to hit up here. So this is my other rifle, the .338. This is the 7mm08. That is about perfect. You always got to remember when you're shooting at something, the gravity works like this. So everything goes in a rainbow. It doesn't matter how fast it is. You want to be a little high at 100 yards if you want to be dead on at 200 yards. Some people have a problem with hunting as a way of getting meat. But I will say this, it is taking the most responsibility for your food. When you are going out and actually killing the animal yourself, however you do that, whether that's in a fair chase hunt where you sneak up on something and shoot it, or whether that's killing an animal in your farmyard because you're butchering chickens or butchering hogs or cattle so you can eat them, that is the ultimate in taking responsibility for what you put in your body. If you guys have ever tried elk meat, it is fantastic. And we're gonna try to find an elk tomorrow in my extreme grocery shopping session. Started up the pickup, we're gonna head out and see if we can find an elk. Now out west, many people take the time to go out in the mountains and shoot their own food. I always like to tell myself that it's cheaper to do so. I'm not positive it is, but if we look at it, if you shoot an elk, you're getting about 300 pounds of meat. If I buy that in hamburger from a local rancher, it's gonna cost about a minimum of $1,800, $6 a pound. We might, if you don't count your labor, because once you shoot an elk, that's when the work really begins. Trying to get it out of the mountains for one thing, cutting the meat off the bones, all that kind of stuff, packaging it to put it in your freezer. Takes a lot of time and energy. Cost me $43 in fuel just for this day. I'll kind of try to keep track of it and see what it's gonna cost me to get an elk. Now, if you could just guarantee just walk out there and shoot an elk every day, then that would be a little different. I'm sure you could get it under that $1,800 price point pretty easily, especially if you cut it up yourself. So we're headed through our small town. We don't have anything like to eat. We don't have any place that is fast food. So you kind of have to either stop at a gas station or make it yourself. I got a couple of burritos and a cup of coffee. That'll get me up there. So that was $10. So we're at like 50 some dollars right now. And this is day one. This is what happens when you're on a road that you don't know. So I gotta figure out how to turn around. It's very tight. So I'm gonna have to pull up and then try to back in here without hitting a tree. I think I managed to back up without hitting anything. Now if I can get out of here without bottoming out. It's a long pickup. My intention is to go hiking, so I just have to kind of find where that is that I need to go to go hiking. I have no idea. Was gonna take a horse up here, but since I'd never been up here, I was like, I better go up here and just see if I can actually get a horse trailer to where I want to get a horse trailer. So if I'd have gone up here with a horse trailer, man, I'd have been screwed. So I better find a different route to where I want to go. I saw some elk on some private land over here. I'm trying to find where I'm trying to get to a location that I can see on my map. And I can't seem to find the route to get there. So I'm probably, I don't know, I'm 45 miles from where I turned off the highway now. It was 27 degrees down when I came around the corner here, and now the wind's blowing about 50 miles an hour and it's 42 degrees. So it's all over the place. I drove to 2 dead ends so far. It's a good thing I didn't bring a horse trailer on this trip, because I don't know how I'd even have turned around on that last one. Well, it's now 11 o'clock, and I think I'm on the right road, but man, I don't know if I could ever take a horse trailer up this thing. Look where I'm at. I'm like at the top of driving up this mountain like forever. Well, I'm not really sure if I'm here. I'm definitely not here at the right time. I should have been here this morning, but this is really a perfect little pocket here, because you can hear the wind behind me. It's just roaring, but I can't feel it right here. It's blocked by this ridge. It's kind of coming around through here. All right, I decided what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk down this area here so I can get a better view of all this stuff, so I can hike over there and see if I can see something. Now, it's midday, so this is like when everything's gonna be bedded down, most likely. So I probably won't see anything right now, but unless I'm really good at spotting. When you have an area like this that you can see this much country, sometimes it's a better idea to sit in one spot and let the animals move instead of you moving, because when you're moving, you can't spot them as well. Typically you have to, but I don't know the area, so I want to see if I can spot something moving somewhere, so I know what area in here to go to. If I spot something up on that mountain up there, that's going to be, you know, that's two and a half miles away. Look at this tree, good grief. That's a lot of good firewood right there. I better pick that up on the way back. Burns are awesome, but be very careful when you're in a burn about wind, because wind can knock down a whole bunch of trees in a burn very, very quickly. I'm gonna figure out how to get around this crap. This is on foot, so on a horse this would be a lot more difficult. I might have this wrong, because I am where the wind is not blowing. So this is where I think the animals will be. I don't know if you can hear that roar, but that is the wind blowing on that side. If I look over there, I can see those green trees just whipping in the wind. And so that could be a problem, because I'm not looking at where I want to look at. I'm looking from where I want to look. One thing that's for sure is I'm almost out of water, so I'm gonna have to run down. I saw a creek or a little stream bed back there just a little ways. Well, probably a couple miles. So I'm just gonna jump the four-wheeler off and run down and purify some water and then come back up. Again, I'm not sure how I would ever get my horse up here without riding him an extra extra 5 miles just to get to the trailhead. Oh man, that's steep. Okay. Boy, that's probably wouldn't even need to treat that. We're up right near the source. It's a nice little tiny stream flowing down the. It's probably just pure snow melt, but I don't trust anything, so I'm gonna use a light and kill everything in it. My process for this, I use an Nalgene ball that's 1 liter. You fill it up just like that. Take my light here, my Sterapin, turn it on, stick it in the water, and then it starts the UV light, and then you just stir it around until the timer goes down to 0. And what that does is use UV radiation or UV light to kill anything that might be bad in there. The real problem with water getting giardia is from bacteria or animal droppings in the water. Cause it to have little bacteria in there. They can really mess you up. Cause you to have horrible diarrhea for like 3 days. So even though this is probably 100% safe on its own, it's like one of the safest spots I've taken water from in the last year, I'm just gonna do this anyway. Let's need to do that a few more times until I fill this up, and we're good. Should be good. Well, this tree must have just fallen down not too long ago and smattered all these big branches. But these branches are pretty nice and dry because they were standing, obviously they were standing up. They haven't been down very long. They're nice and dead and dry, so I'm gonna grab a couple of these bigger ones to feed the fire. Getting the fire started isn't too hard with my method, but sometimes if you have this available, if you got some of these branches available with nice orange, completely dried pine needles, these things are like gasoline. You can see the trees right there. The wind is just cooking, but not right here. That'll probably start. That's one thing about pine needles is they flare up really fast, dried pine needles, but you gotta have something else for the fire to burn right away because they burn out real quick too. So try not to snuff the whole thing out before it gets going. There we go. You gotta be careful with fire, especially in the wind, that you don't start a forest fire or something. The only reason I'm doing it right here, right now, we got a lot of bare ground around me, and everything is pretty, all the ground is pretty wet, so this grass is wet and everything. That's the pine needles flaring up there. Like I said, pine needles are like gasoline, so don't light that near something that can light on fire, because if there was weeds right in the near vicinity, see how high that flame is? That's not normal. That's because of the pine needles. Once the pine needles get done, it will go down. All right, I'm gonna get the coffee started here. couple of those on. They won't burn as hot. I mean, as fast. Right here. Put it right there in that crook so it gets the coals, which is the hot part of the fire. Well, I'm not really sure if this will agree with me real well, but I've got a can of chunky chili mac. Probably terrible, but we're gonna eat that. Whew, that's hot. That fire is hot. I'm just gonna set it on the coals right here. Those are hot coals. You know, you can eat backpack meals, like dehydrated meals, and that's fine. You can live on them. They're not fun to eat. So when I go out, I definitely try to add a little bit of more flavor and something else to my meals rather than just a backpack meal. I only reserve those for like emergencies or when you need to super conserve weight. I can eat them. They just don't taste good. And they don't react good with my belly either. It's not a great like warming fire, and it's kind of smoky. Perfect cooking fire because it's got really lots of heat in the coals, heat back there, and it's not much flame, so it's just perfect. Yeah, that's done. It's probably fairly tasteless because it's out of a can, but it's got to be way better than a backpack dehydrated meal. Ooh, it's nice and smoky. Look at that. It's good and hot. Good and hot. And fairly tasteless, but oh well. Gotta make sure I don't burn my mouth now. So, water's boiling there, so we're gonna throw some coffee in it. This coffee I got from a guy up in that actually roasts it in Montana, so I'm really interested to see how this goes. Put 2 of them in there. Okay, it's really hard to regulate this when you're doing it on a fire. So I'm gonna try to spread these logs apart a little bit, because what you want is, after it gets boiling, you want to kind of tame it down. Yeah, there you go. Right here. Put it over here. Let it stand for a minute. I'll go get some cold water to pour down the spout. Oh yeah. Creamer in there. Put that kind of next to the fire, but not too close. All right, let's see how this new coffee tastes. Yeah, so I've tried it a couple times. I really like it with cream. With creamer. So I'll have to try it black next time. I don't know why I didn't. I'm gonna do the dishes while I'm sitting here. Let that boil. The real problem that I have with the wind is that if it blows too hard and it blows one of these great big trees down over that road when I go back down, you don't want to leave this going at all when it's like this and windy especially, because it can pick this thing up and keep it going. There we go. Up there, those trees are just whipping. I am much lower. I packed up my backpack and I'm gonna hike up this canyon for a ways. I think I'm gonna be more in the wind, so I'll have to kind of watch out for falling trees. But it should be looking at some stuff that might be out of the wind, which is what you want to do. You technically want to be in the wind and looking where there isn't wind. Hunting is definitely dictated by the area, the weather, the time of year, the amount of people that are hunting it. I would say this kind of hunting is probably less successful than finding an area like I saw earlier and just watching it. More likely to find something you can try to go get. Now, what I'm going to end up with is just going into a pocket that's out of the wind and hoping that there's something in here somewhere that I will end up spotting, which is much less likely. With wind blowing like this, it's actually pretty unlikely that something is going to come out on top exposed to that wind right away. It blew all night last night, so they're probably tucked back in places like this. See this tree? It's up there hanging on that big tree. It's making some awful creaking noises when I go by. Freaking me out when I went creak. See that clearing up there? I'm thinking that's probably where I'll see something, because there's no way I'd ever get there before dark. It's starting to get dark now. But if I did see something up there, at least I would know something is in this area. If I shot something in there, that would be so hard to get it out. It would just be... Cannot imagine how hard it is to walk through that stuff with that much deadfall. I mean, I would shoot it in there, but boy, it would be tough. I'm trying to be quiet. This is the time of day when they'll be starting to feed. I really don't see much feed in here. There's not a lot of grass or even leafy shrubs or anything that they could be eaten, but I heard something ahead of me, so I slowed down and took the rifle off of my shoulder. That'll scare you. Birds flying up, that's a grouse. Here's some bear crap right here. It's got seeds in it and everything, so you can tell it's bear. I'm about 2 miles from the pickup now. It's pretty dang thick. The wind up above me literally sounds like a jet airplane. So I think I'm just gonna sit here for a little bit. It goes back into the thick stuff and gets way windier up above, so I'm gonna sit here and see if I can spot something on this hillside. Probably not, because that side's exposed to the wind. Alright, well, that's it for today. I did not even so much as see an elk track. So just This is really a good demonstration of the fact that elk hunting, or hunting in general, is not a foregone conclusion. Very rarely do you just go out and shoot something. You can sometimes on private land, but even that isn't a gimme. So it's much easier to go to the grocery store and buy it. But like I said, this is the ultimate in taking responsibility for what you eat. So, hope you enjoyed it, even though I didn't get a dang thing. Until next time, I'm Trinity Vandenacre. God bless.